All right, today we're going somewhere most people never see. We're stepping behind a curtain, right into one of India's largest red light areas. We're going to try and look past all the stereotypes to understand the life, the business, and the humanity that exists inside just a single room. Let's get into it. Right off the bat, that line just hits you, doesn't it? It's so direct. It tells us we're not just looking at this from a distance, we are inside the very space where life and work are completely intertwined. Okay, so first up, let's really explore this room. What is this place? It's not just one thing. It's a place of incredible contrasts. Yeah, it's an office, but it's also a home. And for the person living there, it's a kind of sanctuary. And when you look inside, it's just this unbelievable mix of things. You've got condoms, the tools of the trade right there, but then you also have pictures of gods on the wall and musical instruments. There are fresh roses sitting in a bucket of water and plants that are clearly being looked after with a lot of love. It's this wild collision of the sacred, the personal, and the professional, all packed into just a few square feet. You see, this completely shatters the idea that this is just some sordid, dark, neglected space. It's not. It's a room that's filled with care, where meals get cooked, friendships are made, and really complex, real-life stories are lived out every single day. So, how does the actual business side of things work? It's easy to imagine it as chaotic, but it's really not. We need to see it for what it is, a business. And like any business, it has its own rules, its own negotiations, and, believe it or not, a whole lot of personal agency. The process is actually pretty straightforward. A client shows up, and a negotiation starts. But here's the most important part. It's the worker who sets the terms. She's the one who looks at the client, figures out what they can pay, and then names her price for whatever service they're asking for. And get this, the price isn't set in stone. For one service, it might be one price. For another, she might say something like, "Look, if you can pay $500, I'll come with you." She's in total control of that financial exchange. She decides what her time and her service are worth. So that brings up a really important question, right? Just because someone pays, does that mean they get whatever they want? Is everything on the table? And the answer is a hard no. Absolutely not. Just listen to this quote. It's so powerful. "I don't give kisses to just anyone." That is such a clear, personal boundary. It's a statement of autonomy, saying loud and clear that some things are just not for sale. That's real agency right there. You know, sometimes these interactions can turn into something else entirely. One woman talks about a client who's been visiting her for 17 years. 17. He's not just a client anymore. He's become a friend, someone she can actually talk to about her problems. Okay, so we've talked about the business, but what about the person behind the business? Because beyond the transactions, these are women with incredible histories, with ambitions, and with daily lives that can be, well, shockingly normal. Just look at this journey. It's incredible. One woman was sold into this life when she was only 14. I mean, what a traumatic way to start. But fast forward 20 years, and she decides to sit for her 10th grade exams, and she passes. And she's not stopping there. Now she's planning to finish the 12th grade. This isn't just about survival. This is about resilience and a deep, powerful drive to grow. So what about the downtime? The moments in between. Well, it turns out it's pretty ordinary. The women hang out, they play Ludo on their phones, scroll through reels, they laugh, they share makeup tips. It's a scene you could see literally anywhere, and it's a huge reminder that we are all so much more alike and we are different. And this, right here, this is powerful. A lot of these women are moms. This is what one mother tells her kids when she explains her work. It's not about her, it's about them. It's to give them an education, to give them a better life. It totally reframes her role, doesn't it? She's not a victim. She's a provider, making a huge sacrifice for her family. But all of this strength, this resilience, it clashes head-on with an outside world that is often incredibly hostile. Now we need to look at the huge systemic battles they're fighting every day against stigma, against the police, and against these so-called rescue missions that are just deeply flawed. I mean, there's just this massive gap between how they see themselves and how the world sees them. They talk about being treated like garbage. They go to a hospital, and instead of care, they get judgment. They encounter the police, and instead of protection, they often face abuse. Okay, this next part it's just brutal to hear. This is an account of a police raid where dozens of officers beat the women. And they say one girl was sexually assaulted by 30 to 35 policemen all night long. It is a complete and horrifying betrayal by the very people who are supposed to protect you. And then you have the twisted logic of the rescue. The raids just assume every single woman there has been trafficked. So they're forcibly taken to shelters, they're not even asked. To get out, an adult woman, maybe in her 40s or 50s, needs a legal guardian to vouch for her. Can you believe that? They're even forced to sign papers promising to be a good person. And the result of all this trauma? About 70% of them go right back to the work they never wanted to be rescued from. So after all of that, after everything they face from the outside, how do these women define themselves? Well, that's where they take back control. This final part is all about their fight for dignity and how they are reclaiming their own story. The first thing they do is they change the language. They refuse to use the ugly, stigmatized words that society uses. Instead, they call themselves Langiq Kamgar. Now, the key word there is Kamgar. It means laborer or worker. It's a conscious choice. They are defining what they do as a job, a form of labor, not some kind of moral failing. And they go right after the one phrase everyone uses, body selling. One woman just asks a really simple, profound question. Why say that? I don't sell my body. It's a flat-out rejection of the whole idea that they are selling off a piece of who they are. And the way they explain it, it's a brilliant analogy. Listen to this. They ask, when you go to a shop and buy sugar, do you say the shopkeeper sold a piece of himself? Of course not. He's providing a product. They argue it's the exact same thing. They are providing a service in exchange for money. Their body isn't being sold. And that's really what it all comes down to, isn't it? It leaves us with this huge final question. If the women at the very center of all this see themselves as workers, as laborers who are providing a service, why is it so damn hard for the rest of the world to see them the same way?